Welcome to Love Intervention. I'm Pastor Evans.
I'm Mrs. Evans.
We're so glad you joined us today. We're continuing our theme for this season, Growing Your Love. Today's episode is going to be really good. It is the 5 love languages. So let's get started.
While I was doing some research, as always, I came across a quote that I think fits the topic.
Okay.
It's not enough to love your spouse. The real question is, does your spouse feel your love? So it's not enough to just love your spouse. It's important to be able to have successful communication.
Right. So that you can feel your love.
So that they can feel your love,
Right. Is there a question for today's spouse?
So the question is, what do you believe about the way you love?
What do I believe about the way I love?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm supposed to answer the question first. And because sometimes I don't get it out the right way, I wrote it down, so I'm going to read it. I don't think I ever considered how I love people. I know that I love them. I know that I wanted them to know that I love them. And they should feel that I love them. I don't think I ever had an issue saying I love you. I heard it all the time. I saw and felt love, so I felt like it was kind of understood. Considering it now, the time that I spent or the things that I would do for those I loved was not necessarily love.
Okay.
As I get older, however, I'm learning that you can't expect people to just know that you love them.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about the way I love.
I wrote mine down too. We want to make sure that we get our thoughts out clear.
Right.
So I wrote it down and then we'll talk about it. I thought before we got married that my way was the best way to love because I thought I knew everything. Okay. I thought I had cornered the market on loving and that the quantity of time was what showed a person whether I loved them or not. So I thought that quantity of time is what showed love. Okay? And which was based on my incomplete understanding about love. What love was in my 20s is very different from the love that I have come to know, experience, and understand. That agape love. That 1 Corinthians 13 love. What I know about the way that I love came from a place that was, I would say, not love. Okay, because I don't think I never felt loved as a child. So I never felt like my parents loved me. I had a strong feeling towards my sister, who was 6 years older than me, but I never felt love. So I never experienced something that felt like love. I never felt love. I just felt, I didn't feel safe either. And so I felt like now looking back, I didn't have love and I didn't have security as a child. And so the way that I loved, I felt like was based on the quantity of time because I felt like if people were around me and I could see directly what they were doing, then I didn't feel like they were behind me or behind my back trying to hurt me. So I felt like if you were with me, then that is what love meant because at least then in the open, you weren't trying to hurt me. And so that's what I based it, love on and how to show love is a safety of knowing that if you're with me, you're not trying to hurt me. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a wow.
Right.
I don't think you ever shared it with me that way. Yeah. Because it kind of like contrasts, I guess, probably the way that I started feeling like loving, because the folks in my family were always there.
Right.
And so maybe, like I wrote, it was just like, I just felt like you should know that I loved you because I was there, and that's what I saw. I saw the people were there, and we were hanging out, we were talking, or not talking, because my dad didn't talk very much, but it was just, I never had that safety thing, so I think it was just, I think I took for granted that I was loved, and I took for granted that people knew I loved them. So that was an interesting contrast there. Yeah. All right.
Okay. So then what are the 5 love languages?
What are the 5 love languages? So
the 5 love languages came from a book called How to Express Heartfelt Commitment to Your Mate, which was written in 1992 by an author named Gary Chapman. And it outlined the 5 ways to express and experience love between romantic partners, which he called the love languages,
right,
which are now known as the 5 love languages.
Cool.
So the first one we're going to cover is words of affirmation. And a person who has words of affirmation as one of their love languages enjoys unsolicited comments. They like to hear the word love, I love you, and they like to know the reasons why someone loves them.
Right. So love language is like any language. The way you communicate is the way people understand, right?
Right.
So the way to communicate to a words of affirmation love language understander, that was a really long, complicated reason, is the way to communicate love to this person would be to encourage them, to affirm the things that they love and believe in, to appreciate them, to empathize when they're having a hard time, and to listen actively, like actually listen and be able to comment when you're talking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the second one we're going to go over is acts of service.
Acts of service.
Anything you do to ease the burden of responsibility weighing on an active service person will speak volumes. The words he or she most wants to hear is, let me do that for you.
So the way to communicate to a acts of service person is to use action phrases like, let me help or I'll help you. They want to know that you're there with them, not just there, right? And they want to feel supported and partnered with in the things that they do.
Right. And the third one is receiving gifts. The perfect gift or gesture shows that you are known, or shows that that person is known, that they are cared for, and that they are a prize above whatever was sacrificed to bring the gift to them. Right.
So the way to communicate to them is the thoughtfulness in the gift, right? Not necessarily just getting a gift, but the thought behind the gift. You make your spouse a priority and speak purposefully. So make them a priority when you're thinking about them at all times, and then speak purposefully. Can't say that word today.
Right.
Speak purposefully to them, knowing that they enjoy that and they appreciate what you're giving them.
So the next one is quality time. It's your undivided attention, or that person enjoys undivided attention, and being there for this type of person is critical, but really being there with the TV off, like with your phones down. Right.
Off Facebook.
Yeah.
Not on Instagram.
Right.
Not watching the scores.
Not trying to get a selfie.
Right. Can I get a selfie? All right. So for a quality time person, the way to communicate love to them is, like my wife said, uninterrupted and focused conversations. One-on-one time is critical. So that's how you communicate. Uninterrupted, focused conversation, one-on-one time.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And the last one is physical touch. Hugs, pats on the back, and thoughtful touches on the arm. Appropriate and timely touches communicate warmth, safety, and love to that person.
So for this person, the physical touch person, the way to communicate love is to use nonverbal communication.
Right.
Body language, right? And touch to emphasize love.
Right.
So you may walk past them and just kind of touch them.
Right. They would
Touch them softly. All right.
So husband,
Yeah.
what are your love languages?
Oh, we doing that now.
Right.
I thought we were just talking in general. We're not. We gotta tell what mine are.
What are they?
Okay. So my love languages, as we took the test and went through all these things to get ready. We actually took them a long time ago, but mine are quality time. Primary ones are quality time and physical touch.
Okay.
When we were going through them, though, and like we discussed, that I think, and this is my own personal opinion, is that probably just about everybody experiences love in some way in all of them.
Okay.
But there are ones that come like to the surface, some ones that are primary for you, but the other ones you may feel some way or a little bit or not. But for me, physical touch and quality time, those are mine. Probably because of what we were talking about before. Like we in my growing up with my family, we spent a lot of time together. And, my dad was a real touchy guy. He didn't say a whole lot, but he was pretty touchy. So I knew that he loved me because he would like pop me in the back of the head. That's not abuse. And then we just spent a lot of time together, like watching TV and doing stuff like that. So that's how I felt love, just by that time and that contact. So yeah, but when we were going through them, like words of affirmation, I like to hear "you love me." It makes me smile every time, but it's not my primary one. But I like to hear.
Right.
And then gifts, I like stuff, but I don't need gifts. I just need you, woman.
No.
Yeah. And then what's that one? Acts of service.
Right.
You know what? I think that I don't know if that would be a third one for me. I think I like to do stuff for you and for other people.
Oh, okay.
So, but I don't know if it's mine. So quality time, physical touch. What about you?
No.
No?
Okay. So my love languages are quality time. I spend my quality time with you. And physical touch. And I have a third. Thank you. Acts of service.
Right.
Okay, so quality time. I think that the reason why mine is quality time, again, like I said in the beginning, is because I really like for the person who says that they love me,
Right.
and who wants to show that they love me, that I'm worth spending time with. But more than that, I feel like if you're with me, again, you're not hurting me.
Right.
Okay, and that was a negative that I was able, with God's help, to turn into a positive. And so that's why quality time is my main love language. My main. Okay? Physical touch, because I just enjoy hugging and kissing everyone. And I didn't receive any of that as a child.
Right.
Not until my niece was born. I was 9, and she was like a doll and just wanted to hug and touch her. And it was the most pure love that I had ever felt in my life. And I think that's the first time I felt this thing that I didn't know what to give a name to. So physical touch. And I've been lovey, kissy, cuddly.
Yes.
Ever since.
Yes. It works out for me.
And my kids.
Oh yeah, them too.
And then my third one, acts of service, because I, growing up, never really could trust what people said or what people did. I always was thinking, like, why are you doing that for me? Like, what do you want from me? because of the abuse of my childhood, it's really important that if you tell me you love me, that you're willing to do stuff for me to show me, because that is how I'm going to believe, trust, and receive love from you. Acts of service. So, and the other two are receiving gifts. That's not, I like a gift.
Right.
I like a gift.
I know.
I like a little C's. I like a gift. However,
Right.
as a child, we used to have every toy. We had TVs, we had clothes, we had food, and it just didn't mean anything to me because I knew that in the next minute I was going to be hurt. That the people who love me were going to hurt me, and so I enjoy a good gift, but receiving gifts is not a love language to me because to receive something doesn't mean you love me, in my opinion, how I feel. And the next one is what? Words of affirmation?
Yeah, words of affirmation.
Again, it was really difficult to try to figure out what people said. A lot of times when people were nice to me, it's because they wanted to use me. And so I've grown to like for people to say things to me in a loving way. However, I'm not gonna pass out if you don't. Because as long as you're hitting the other three.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking while you were talking, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay.
But I was remembering back as you were kind of recalling how you developed your love languages, particularly on the acts of service. When I was thinking about in the first parts of our marriage, I was, and I'm still learning this, by the way, but in the first parts of our marriage, I felt like I was being loving, and I felt like I was showing love, but I wasn't doing the acts of service communication, like letting you know how I can help and letting you know that I'm here with you. Right. And I realize now that I wasn't communicating that.
Because you were doing things that were based on your understanding of love, though.
Right.
So you were doing things, but based on your understanding and not what I actually needed you to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was there, but I wasn't like. I know, and I remember that we had some challenges at the beginning of the marriage, but I know I was there, and I feel like, you know what? I feel like I was probably just there.
Right. And
I felt like with my love language being quality time, I was just kind of there, and I don't know that I'm sure now that I wasn't communicating to you in a way like, let me help, let me do this,
right?
Let me take this from you. Let's take this burden from you. And even though I think that you like knew up here that I loved you in your head, it didn't feel like it because I wasn't meeting that need.
Well, because a lot of times, like, did you bring me balloons?
Yeah.
You brought me balloons, and I was like, why would you bring me something that?
Right.
Like, I don't get it. Like that's
Right.
stupid.
Yeah.
Or you brought me flowers, and I'm like, why would you bring me something that would die?
Right.
That doesn't make sense. Like, I didn't need any more death in my life.
Right.
Or you brought me a slushie that I poured over your head.
Wait, now see, the slushy thing was the same day as the balloons. Now look, since you brought it up, the slushy thing was the same day as the balloons. I had brought her some balloons. I don't know if it was for Valentine's Day or something.
I'm like, what?
I don't know what it was for, but I brought you these yellow balloons and flowers the same day.
And I was so hurt that you would do something that meant nothing to me,
right? And
then call it love. Like, why would you do this? Right. So I poured the slushie over your head.
Yes, and what? Now, see, you skipped though. You asked me to go buy you the slushie. We left the apartment to go get the slushie, and then we came back and you poured it over my head.
Because something transpired that...
I don't know what it was, but you was like... I think you were good after that, though.
I was. But, you know, what's really interesting to me is that you didn't leave.
What? Yeah, where am I going to go?
I think it was kind of like, you know, how they say when children are taken from their home and they have to go to the other place, and then they do everything to make sure that where they are is safe and that people love them. Right. I think that was a moment of that.
What? The pouring the slushie over my head?
Yeah, because you didn't leave.
See if I was going to leave?
Yeah, maybe somewhere deep down inside.
Right. Oh, okay.
Maybe. But I really felt like this is dumb, and why would you do this to me? And you said you love me.
Right.
I got something for you.
Right. That was over 20 years ago. I don't think I've bought you a balloon since. I ain't got no slushy over my head either, though.
Right.
So that worked out.
That worked out.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of things that might get a slushy pouring over your head.
Whatever.
There's some do's. We wanted to give you guys some do's and don'ts on communicating with someone based on their love language. All right? So I'm going to do the do's and you're going to do the don'ts. Right. So for people who communicate or feel loved by words of affirmation, you should send an unexpected note, text, or card. Encourage genuinely and often. Those are your do's.
I like those.
Those sound good, right? Mm-hmm. What are the don'ts?
A don't. Non-constructive criticism, not recognizing or appreciating effort.
Right.
Right.
That makes sense. If for a person who needs affirmation, why would you criticize them?
Right.
That would be rough. That doesn't make sense.
Tough.
All right. So, physical touch. Here's your do. Hug, kiss, hold hands, show physical affection regularly. Make intimacy a thoughtful priority.
Right.
I'm working on the intimacy thing.
People.
But you know, I'm gonna get better. She ain't leaving me.
I don't. Physical neglect. Long stints without intimacy. Receiving affection coldly. Like a fish?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
That might not be good. Receiving gifts. For the person who receives gifts as a love language.
Right.
What you should do. Give thoughtful gifts and gestures. Small things matter in a big way. Express gratitude when receiving a gift. So it's not only giving the gift, but if they give you a gift, because that's how they communicate,
right.
Express gratitude. I'm just like, thanks. I'm glad you did it.
Right.
Yeah.
A don't. Forgetting special occasions, enthusiastic gift receiving. Right. Yeah. So just like, thanks, but I don't like these. Or can I have the receipt?
Right. All right. So quality time. This is one of
time with you.
Quality. Who sang that song? I don't remember. I don't know.
I'll be ready for you.
Okay, don't sing too much because we can't pay them. All right. So quality time. Both of us share this one. Create special moments together. Take walks and do small things with your spouse.
Right.
Weekend getaways are huge. We haven't had a weekend getaway.
Forever and ever.
In like 11 years. But we used to go places all the time. Just leave.
But we still take walks in the park when we
still
get an
walk.
opportunity.
Yep. Still take walks and still have
and we have
special
great celebrations.
Yes.
We do the celebrations every little holiday.
Yeah. My wife is awesome in doing celebrations.
I'm awesome, you guys.
Yep. So, what are the don'ts?
Distractions when spending time together. Being distracted. Long stints without one-on-one time. So a long time without just having one-on-one time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta sneak away.
Yeah. Since we became parents, it's been a challenge.
Right.
To have one-on-one time. Because this one has turned our children into huggy kissy people.
Huggy kissy.
And they don't want to be without us. Well, at least without her. They can do without me sometimes. Last one. Acts of service.
Okay.
The things to do for a person with acts of service. Do chores together or make them breakfast in bed. Go out of your way to help alleviate their daily workload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this morning we made chocolate chip pancakes together.
Right.
So that was special. We cooked breakfast together.
Yeah.
That was special. And so some don'ts. Making the request of others a higher priority. Lacking follow through on tasks, big and small.
Yeah.
So not doing what they're asking you to do. Maybe a honey-do list that doesn't get done.
Right. Can y'all see how she's looking at me? There's probably about 2-3 things I need to get done right now. Don't tell nobody.
Don't tell nobody.
She still loves me, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So
what do we do now after we heard about all the love languages and we went over the do's and don'ts?
Right.
What do we do now?
Well, the first thing I think we should do is, if you haven't already, take the love language quiz. We're going to link that in the video description everywhere that we post this, and take the love language quiz. I think that's the first thing we should do.
And remember that if you've already taken a quiz like this, or you've already taken this one specifically, remember that as people learn and grow and mature, your love language can grow and change. And so if you've taken it before, try it again.
Yeah.
Try and see where you are now.
Right.
Maybe you're the same. Maybe one of them has changed, not the other. That way you can be, you can have that information.
Right. And I know that it says like love language for couples or something like that. That's how it was described. But even if you're not a couple, even if you're single, I think it's important for you to take the quiz so you can know how you receive love.
Right.
'Cause I don't think we really think about how we receive love until you actually think about it. So it'll be a good starting place to kind of build yourself up.
Yeah, and it will help with future relationships, hopefully marriage.
Hopefully marriage.
Right.
And
we hope that you use this information.
Right.
Hopefully this information enriches your life in a way that will help you move further or farther in your loving relationships. And remember that we are doing the 5 love languages as it pertains to romantic couples, but it's really love languages that you can use among all your family and friends.
Right.
And hopefully you can get a better idea of how they love or how they receive love.
Right. Man, it can improve all your relationships, right?
Right.
Yeah, particularly marriage, because we talk about like dating and marriage a lot, right? So particularly marriage, because most, if not all, a lot of people going into marriage don't really know how their spouse receives love. We guess at it. Men get information from other men about how you should do it, but we don't really know how they receive love.
Right.
So if we can do that and get past that euphoric love feeling and get to the point that you are showing love to your spouse, that will be more helpful. Because something you say all the time, wife, is help has to be helpful, right?
Right.
So the same with love. Love has to be loving.
Right.
So if you're going to express love or show or want your spouse, your friend, your family member to experience love from you, then you need to give it to them in a way that they feel loved.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if you have kids, there's a whole area where they say it's the 5 love languages for kids.
Yeah.
You can look that up. Because you definitely want your kids to feel love. You don't want them to feel like I feel.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. Right.
And so we're at the end of our episode. So I wanted to leave everybody with this quote.
All right.
Remember, discovering and learning to speak the primary love language of someone you love can radically strengthen and improve your relationship with them.
Amen. All right. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode. We'd appreciate that, and that's good information, I think, that other people need to get. Yeah, I feel good about it too. All right. So,
well,
yeah.
see you next time.